friends, welcome to the Muscle Car Modeler. My name is Ral, and this week's build I'm featuring here, this is a 73 Javelin AMX with the 401 Go package on it. And a pretty rare car, although when it comes to AMXs, this is by production numbers, the most likely to be seen one here because it was one of the better years as far as production went. And it's kind of interesting too because the AMX package, it never really was a full-on performance package. Like you didn't get all of the goodies when you optioned up for the AMX. Even in the two-seaters, you could still get the 290 and 343. The 390 was optional. So, even though you've got the AMX package, you really had to step it up. Well, by the time the 71s came out, the AMX package was on top of the four-seaters, so there was no more two-seater AMXs. And so they were all Javelin AMXs by this time. Now, 71 and 72, they have a T-roof design, and they redesigned that, but this car is almost unchanged other than the safety equipment and stuff that was federally mandated. The bumper guards here, beams inside the doors, some of that stuff, but it's all structural stuff that you really didn't see. Some would notice, some sharp-eyed would notice some of the differences here. But 73 also got an updated tail panel, tail lights, bigger tail lights, and that kind of stuff. But when it came to the AMX package, all you really got was the AMXs. You got this rear wing here, and then you got a few other trim options on the inside. But it didn't mean much other than it was a V8 car. The base Javelin still was available with the inline 6, unlike the Challenger. For 73, the inline 6 was dropped in the Challenger. But in the Javelin, you could still get the inline 6. But the AMX package could have gotten the 304, the 362 barrel, the 364 barrel, and the 401 4 barrel. So getting a full-on 401 was kind of rare, but they were available. So for 73 offerings, it was still one of the stronger ones where the Challenger didn't get any big blocks at all. And some of the cars were really toned down, Mustang included. Last year for the Mustang big block was 71. So by 73, your options were starting to get kind of limited. Some people say after 72, they died because the Chevelles and some of the other cars were just really, changed and gutted as far as performance went. But the Javelin was one of the ones, like the Firebird, that stuck around and kept a lot of its options. You just had to be very careful and selective on what you ordered, because even though you can get an AMX, you could still get a 304 AMX. And the Go package would give you this fiberglass cowl induction hood. The T-stripe was still an option on top of the Go package by 73. But that got you the fresh air, but only on the 360 and the 401. So you can get the fresh air package. 74, this hood was gone. You couldn't order the fresh air hood anymore. And then same thing with this front spoiler on the front here that Javelin's had. That was gone for 74 also. So it's one of the reasons why I haven't actually made a 74, because the model has really gotten kind of far away from accuracy. But that's the model kit itself, because came out with the hood and everything. Another thing for 73 though was the availability of an actual vinyl top, because they got rid of the T on here. It was much easier to do a vinyl top. So there's a lot more vinyl top cars available, but 73 also saw an uptick in production, which happened almost all across the muscle car era for 73. So in 72, there were a little over 26,000 Javelins made. For 73, it was just barely over 3,100 or under 3,100. It was like 30,800 or 900 units. But when it came to the AMXs, 71 was barely over 2,000 units. 72 was like 3,400 units. But 73 this year was like 5,700 AMXs produced. Now, like I said, that's all engines, just AMX package, but they really only had your regular Javelin and the AMX. There really wasn't anything in between, even though, I guess the SST was the base model. So it's kind of strange reading about some of that. But the Go package gave you this blacked out tail panel and then the cowl induction hood. But the T-stripe was an extra cost option, and disc brakes were still an option in 73. The AMX gave you the performance suspension and disc brakes in the AMX package. in the standard Javelin, it was still kind of an option. Plus, on top of that, you didn't get the twin grip axle. You can get all these different gear ratios, but the open diff rear axle was standard. So, you know, the twin grip, as AMC called it, was an extra cost option as well. It wasn't part of the AMX. And then on top of it too, a lot of them were automatics, but the T10 4-speed was available behind the 360 and the 401. So quite a number of options. So if you optioned it up right, you can have, you know, quite the high performance Stormer. But, and that's what I was trying to build here with this particular one. Now in 74, the 401 did stay, but the cowl induction hood went away and some of the other stuff. So I'll get into that in a minute. But first, we'll just go ahead and we'll take this outside and see it in the sunlight. All right, check out the yellow on this 73 Javelin AMX here. Love this color out in the sun here, especially with that black Go package stripe, the T stripe on the front there. I really like how that looks. And just a beautiful car. And there she is, just really shining in the sun here. Now in this particular one, I don't think there was any special yellow I used. I don't quite remember exactly what I did, but I just knew I wanted to do one in yellow. And then for the 74, I still can't decide on what color it's going to be. That's why I haven't built the 74. But this 73, even though they're virtually identical and there are some changes between the two, that requires some work, but just love the way this looks. And just a beautiful car there. So here it is, glistening in the sun here, since we're getting a little bit of sunlight this particular time here in Arizona. Usually sunlight's not a problem, but we've been overcast the last couple of days with very light rain, which we need, but it's been kind of hard to get out, and I wasn't sure this was gonna, you know, make it out or not. So got a little bit of sun, so here I am showing this one off. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Well, I'll head back inside and continue on with this one. All right, well, now that we're back inside and I put this on a rotisserie courtesy of BG, and you know, got to look at this bright yellow in the sun. Now I don't remember exactly what yellow I used on this, but it is clear coated, and I just don't remember exactly what I used back then. I built this back in, I think, 2010, somewhere right around there. Or no, I think this one was later, like 2015. It was one of the later ones that I had done. But I made sure, and I hunted these down and purchased as many as I can. A lot of them were rebuilders. The 73, 74s are the easiest ones to find. For me, the 71 and 72 bodies were hard to find, especially this one. I got some pictures of how it started, as this was kind of a hodgepodge one, because Johan had a lot of them that were this way, where it was the 72 box, and I got the 72 rear bumper and taillights instead of the 73 and 74's taillights that are here, but it had the body without the T-roof. So I had the actual 73, 74 body, but I had the wrong rear bumper and taillights. Finding these taillights and rear pan were a little bit easier at the time. I know as time goes by, these models are getting harder and harder to find. But I did have a nice rebuilder that I had to redo, and really not much missing on it. I wanted to add the Magnum 500s because I didn't want the volcano wheels, as they're called, or the machine wheels on every single one. It was more of the volcano wheels on these ones. But so I put these on there because I just wanted them on it, even though on the real car, I really like those volcano wheels or the machine wheels. So if I had one, that's what I would go with. But, you know, I got to change them up a little bit because I've got the volcano wheels on my 71 and 72. So, you know, I had to do this one kind of this way because that's just what I wanted, and it represented more of what these cars had. And when it comes to the kit, since it really wasn't changed much other than updating the body and the bumpers, the kit itself is pretty much the same, and it's fairly decent for its time. You know, for Johan and their quality, I like these, and they build up really well. Let's see if I can get this hood off. It's always making me nervous, but there's the functional cowl induction hood or fresh air hood, and the 401, even though the engines actually look the same, so you really can't tell from the outside what they are, but it's basically different bores. All the internals are different between the 304, the 360, and the 401. So from the outside, they all look the same. But and then some of them have the dual snorkeling, but that was pretty much the 71 only. 72 and later had the single snorkel. But I'll put the T package on it. And this piece, not all of them had it. The 71 kits kind of did, but I added it and fixed that up for this one. So this one's came along really, really nicely. And I really enjoyed building it. But collecting the parts for these was really a challenge on some of these. So I had to buy multiple parts kits or try and find fresh mint kits if possible, which, as the values of these kits has gone up. And it's mostly due to the rarity and nostalgia for them. I like them and I enjoy them, but they are kind of a bit of a pain because there's some inaccuracies, but they really didn't change much. I would really have liked to be able to do the Pierre Cardin interior on one of these, because that's just such a cool interior and definitely very 70s, but it would require really redoing the door panels and the seats and everything to do one of those. But AMC was kind of into that kind of stuff. They would do that, or even the Levi interiors. Those were kind of funny, especially on the Gremlins. Checking those out. But when it comes to replicating those in scale, they're kind of difficult. And then these hoods, they're very thin. Like this one, I took these off. They kind of break really easy. But I've had a number of these hoods actually crack right here, because you can see how thin it is right here and how easily when you try and flex this, it cracks. But this reinforces it when this is glued in. Really reinforces the hood and makes it pretty functional as far as the hood goes. So it looks pretty cool that way. But when it comes to building that 74, like I said, all the 74 AMXs have the flat hood. They have the standard hood, not this hood. They would have a completely different front valance. Even though the AMXs kept keeping the same grill, which is really just a mesh insert that bolts on top of the grill. Behind the grill is different, and it's got the Hornet turn signals in the AMX grills. The standard Javelin grills are different. The 74 has the same grill, but wouldn't have the same valance or hood. So if I were to make an accurate 74, I'd have to change those. And then the blackout tail panel was no longer available in 74 because there were no Go packages in 74. But a lot of people would add this stuff as understand reproduction hoods are available. So when you see somebody who fixed up a 74, they've usually added these parts anyway to make it look more like the traditional AMX. But they're pretty cool. And then it's like I was mentioning in the production numbers, in 74 the numbers dropped a little bit on the AMX. It was a little over 4,000 for that, but the 73 AMX is the most common year of this particular body style. Even when I think you compare the 69 and 68's production numbers, all of them, 69 and 68 did pretty well. 70 dropped to right about 5,000 units. Then 71 and 2 dropped way down, which I mentioned those numbers earlier. But it's still a pretty cool car. Just got a few of those pictures, so I'll repeat those at the end here. So you guys, thank you for tuning in, subscribing, and all your comments. I really do appreciate it. And check out our links in the video description below for our sponsors. I really do appreciate that too. And all of your comments. Love the comments. You guys take care, and you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next time.